Um, my name is Joe Inglis. I'm a vet. I've had a sort of dual career in television and media as well as being a vet, which all started with the programme Vets in Practice. And I now appear on The One Show on BBC One. And I also run a natural pet food company called Pet's Kitchen, and we make Joe and Jack's and Joe and Jill's, which are my own natural pet foods. And I've set up the campaign for real pet foods because I'm really concerned about the quality of mainstream pet foods in this country, and also the way they market and package their foods and the labelling they use. I think a lot of it's very dishonest, not at all open, and very hard for pet owners to understand. And then there's the whole issue with artificial additives and so on. So I thought, well, let's do something about this. Let's fight back. Let's let small, decent, natural pet food companies make a real difference and try and fight back against some of these big multinationals. But commercial dog food is generally made from the leftovers from the human food chain, which is fine. It's a very efficient process, but it needs to be good quality leftovers and it needs to be identified leftovers. So I think pet owners need to know whether their pet food has got chicken in, has it got beef in, has it got pork in, or has it got horse meat in, what's it got in. And the term meat and animal derivatives is used by pet food companies so they can just put in whatever's cheapest at the time of manufacture. So that really hides the true ingredients from the pet owner, making it very hard or impossible for them to know what's really in there. My biggest concern with mainstream pet foods is the use of artificial additives. There are a list of over 4,000 additives in this term EC permitted additives, including many which have been banned in the human food chain by the FSA because of fears over their safety. Recently, a lot of them were banned in children's food because of worries about behavioural issues. But also there are a lot of older additives in there which have been linked to cancers and all sorts of serious health problems. So I believe that these artificial additives pose a very real threat to the health of our pets. And we shouldn't have them in our pet foods anymore. We should be feeding foods which don't contain artificial additives. And the campaign for real pet food is going to do our utmost to try and see them outlawed and see an end of these additives in our foods. We've got a lot of behaviourists on board with the campaign who say that, for example, they can tell exactly what type of food a dog eats as soon as it walks in the door by its demeanour, by its receptiveness to training. So there's that whole issue with behaviour. And then there's really serious health problems. A lot of the additives that are now in pet food are linked to serious health problems, including cancer. And a lot of these additives have been banned from the human food chain by the FSA because of these fears, but they're still in pet foods and they're still hidden behind this term EC permitted additives. I don't want to probably name names on companies, but you look at any mainstream product out there. I mean, I guess if we're going to name time, Baker's is a great example. You know, it's got lots of artificial colourings, preservatives, flavours in there. And I personally don't agree with that. I think that's the wrong approach. And I think more and more pet owners are starting to agree with me, and I think what the campaign is really trying to do is trying to educate people to examine what's in the food that they're feeding their pets. Look at the label. If you see terms like meat and animal derivatives, EC permitted additives, then question, do I want to be feeding something which has got these mysterious ingredients that the manufacturer's not willing to clarify and tell me exactly what's in there? Am I going to be happy feeding this to my pet? My advice to viewers on PetStreet about how you know if you're feeding your cat or your dog a good food is look at the label. If you can understand it, if all the ingredients make sense, if it's sort of chicken, rice, seaweed, brewer's yeast, those kind of ingredients, fine. If you see terms like meat and animal derivatives, derivatives of vegetable origin, or EC permitted additives, personally I think you should steer clear because they don't tell you what's in that food. They give you no real indication of what kind of meat's in there, where it comes from, what kind of additives are in there. And I mean, a derivative of vegetable origin, I don't even know what one of those is. So that's my tip, would be to look at the label. If you understand it, fine, you can make an informed decision. If you can't, steer clear.